All right. We had an amazing evening this evening, and a little bit of a spoiler clip thing going on during the day.
Yeah, that was
We also,
crazy.
we also, we also having the clips going tonight as well.
UConn was,
Whenever Zach Edey stands up.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
when Jack Edey stands up, the eclipse is upon us. Yes.
That's very true. Yeah, it was
Big
weird to
boy.
see it all dark, man. It got all dark around here for a little while.
Yeah, big boy. That's right. You're out here in Dallas with me, so you got to see that.
Yeah.
We had a good night tonight. I think if there are any UConn fans in the house, they're celebrating right about now.
They are back to back.
But
They are now a dynasty, and who knows, they'll probably continue to be like that.
we shall see. We shall see. Well, welcome. We are the Sports Page Pundits, and we are here to talk a little basketball, my favorite sport, college basketball, one of my favorite things to talk about. And tonight we've got Kulik with us. He's out in Colorado. And we've got Mr. Sooner Thrawn, who is in a little bitty town of, what town are you in now?
Big
Capella?
D, well, it's right, technically Mesquite, but it's right on the
Mesquite.
edge of Dallas and Mesquite. So, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, welcome, gentlemen. I know that we have a lot to talk about. Tonight's game was something to behold. If you're a UConn fan, if you are not a UConn fan, you were probably bored to tears. So, but anyway, gentlemen, I just want to start it off by saying, man, Edey could not do it on his own tonight. 37 points, 10 rebounds, just could not get it done. You got any comments?
Well, what blows my mind about that is he still had 37 points.
Yep.
There was a point in that game where he hadn't made a basket for 11 minutes. And that blows my mind that he still got 30. That just tells you how much he was relied on tonight, which was obviously not going to get it done.
No, definitely not going to get it done. I mean, what I had said earlier in our little text chain was I felt if he got to 40, they could win, but 40 points isn't going to win the game. What's going to win the game is 40 points plus another 30 from the other guys on the team. And those guys did not show up. And that to me was the most devastating point of this whole game. You got Edey with 37, and the next guy had 12, and nobody else was even close to double figures. You add up the rest
to put up 50 tonight to win.
Yeah. You add up the rest of the team.
Yeah,
it's just 11 points. I mean, it's if you take away Edey and Braden Smith, the rest of the team 11 points. That's not going to get it done.
Right.
There he is. I knew he'd be back.
You lose me for a minute, yeah.
We did. But we were just talking about Edey and the fact that he scored 37 and 10, and nobody else helped him out. I mean, Braden Smith came up with 12, but that was not going to get the job done. What do you say, Sooner?
Yeah, I mean, Edey was doing pretty well the first half, but it just no one was doing anything, and it ended up being that was the difference. I mean, UConn's depth and just they were just able to shoot the ball better from outside. I think Purdue was like 15% from 3-point range, and just wasn't giving the big guy any help. And
yeah,
and so that was kind of the difference. And yeah, that was the difference for sure. UConn. It's the rare time when two of the best teams all year actually play for the championship, but UConn just the run that they've had in this tournament where they've won almost every game by at least 15 to 30 points. And then the games have been pretty much by 10 minutes left, it's kind of like they're over.
Yeah. It was kind of crazy tonight. We were kind of talking before the game, and I said this could be a blowout. and it was a blowout. Well, when you win by about 15 points, it's kind of a blowout there, but it wasn't your standard blowout. It wasn't like they just went on like they did before, a 30
Yeah.
to nothing run, or even like a 12 to nothing run, or 15 to 2, 15 to 3 run. They just chipped away and chipped away and chipped
Yep.
away, and then you look up at the scoreboard and, oh my
Yeah.
goodness, they're up by
They're-
12. They're up by
Yep.
15. It was one of
Yep.
those kind of games.
And
And
then,
those games, if you ever played in a game like that, those games are so frustrating
yeah.
because you feel like you're almost there. You're almost there. You're almost there. If
Yeah.
they blew you out by 15 in a 10-minute period of time, you're like, oh shit, they're good.
That's it.
If they
But,
just chip away and chip away and chip away, you really still think you have a chance. And then
yeah.
you look up at the scoreboard and you're done. What do you think, Kulik? How'd the game go for you?
Yeah, so it even throughout the first half, it was a good game, and it was a physical game. We had our big men on the boards. With Donovan, with the Edie,
Yep.
and it was going exactly how I wanted to watch the game. And then a dynamic just changed in that second half. I think I had mentioned a little bit ago that Edie went 11 minutes without a basket,
Yep.
and it just you're not going to get it done with that. And the big men for UConn, they both. I won't call a single one because I think it was a team effort to keep Edie at bay, at least in that second half. And they did it. They did well. They did what they needed to do. And what that enabled UConn to do is stay home, where most teams that play Edie and Purdue, they don't get to stay home. They it's a team effort to try to take the ball away from Edie, right, and make sure he doesn't score. But UConn was able to stay home with all their other players, and Purdue didn't have an answer for that.
No, it wasn't even close. I mean, they just did not have an answer for that. When you're shooting, I think it was 14% from
3-point.
you are not going to win a ball game. I'm just sorry, you're not going to win a ball game. Now, Edie, I thought, to be honest with you, I figured even in the last game, J.R. Burns would have been able to push him away from the basket and make things a little bit difficult for him. I thought that the kid from UConn, Klingon. I thought the kid from Utah was going to be able to push Utah. The kid from UConn was going to be able to push him out, keep him away, because Edie seems to be unstoppable within about 5 feet. When you get him out to about 10, 12 feet, he's going to go off that hook shot, and it's going to be hit or miss. And to be honest with you, during that 11 minutes where he didn't score, he missed some bunnies. I mean, he missed some easy shots around the basket. Can't tell you how or why. It didn't seem like they should have been.
He had Donovan Klingon in his face. That's really what it was.
He doesn't usually have a 7-2 guy.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. So he was missing a lot of close ones, and I when that's going on, it's one of those things. It's and nobody else is helping. You got no shot.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, he hit 60%, but in free throw 70, that's pretty good for him. 10 rebounds and 35 points. So I mean, 37. He got no help. I got no help at all.
But and that's the difference is UConn was able to spread the ball out. I mean, Stephen Castle, Cam Spencer, Donovan Klingon, Hassan Diarra, they spread the ball around. It wasn't just one person doing everything, right? I even saw Klingon go up for threes. That's how confident they were tonight.
Yeah.
So,
Spencer was really quick early. He started with 7 points. He only finished with 11, but he was really good at first. But he's a guy that, it was a portal guy. He was, I think he's from like Rutgers, and a guy that UConn probably wouldn't even look at out of high school, but because he proved, that that he can do pretty good at Rutgers, they said, "Yeah, come," and
Mm-hmm.
it paid off. And he's was able to be their point guard, score 14 points, and win a national championship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, the only time I really got excited was when that kid Camden Heidi had that slam dunk
Oh,
on that.
that was
Oh
pretty
yeah,
awesome.
I know exactly
Oh
what
He
you're
my
talking
followed
about.
with
goodness!
that
I mean, he
was
came like
awesome.
sideways and just I said, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
And I was hoping after that would kind of get the boys, get the juices
Yep.
flowing, and maybe make this a game.
Yep.
But that went for naught. Sometimes a play or something can stimulate the guys and get
Yep.
them motivated. And I thought that was
Yeah.
the kind of play that usually does it, a slam dunk of that nature and of that volume. But even that couldn't get
Yep.
Purdue going. And I just
But he'll remember it. He'll have the highlight.
oh yeah, they'll be showing that next year.
He's just a freshman, so he's a true
Yeah,
freshman. So.
yeah, and trust me, that's on his highlight reel. Okay,
Oh yeah,
he
that
ain't
will be.
forgetting that one.
Yep, that one was pretty awesome. I was like, whoa,
Mhm.
out of nowhere.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Hurley. I was gonna say Donovan, but the same kind of dynasty going there. But the Hurley family,
Oh yeah,
Dan, he is like I don't know if I'd want to play for that guy. He's a hothead, man. He's up in officials' faces. He's making faces about his own players, doing this, that, and the other. He's throwing his arms up. He's walking aside. He's an animated kind of guy.
yeah, he
Did you
is.
see him
Yep.
exchanging words with Edie too?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
came on the floor.
Yeah.
Time out. He walked all the way to the floor and said, "Hey,
Yeah.
whatever he's talking about."
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
yeah,
yeah, he's a little bit of a fireball himself, and
yeah. I say he
it's one of
played
those
at he
situations
played at
where
Seton Hall's where he played
yeah, he did.
early.
It's one of those situations where I'm glad his team isn't as much of a hothead as he is. They played with
Yeah,
a lot of poise,
yeah, they
and
do.
they were very comfortable, despite the fact that he was going crazy on the sideline. There were some plays, it was a block charge situation where he's like, "Oh, he's flopping," and it was clearly a freaking charge. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah.
yeah.
So
They were. Yeah, he's really. I think because the first 3 years he was the coach, or went there in 2018. They didn't get past the second round any of the years he was there until last year, and last year they were kind of surprised, but now it seems like he's got them rolling.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and
yeah.
because I don't think they had said that UConn hadn't gotten past the second round until last year for like 8 years or something.
Yep,
Um,
the women's program way outshined the men's
mhm,
program there at
yep,
UConn for many,
because
many
yeah,
years.
yeah, because Calhoun was good, and then but Kevin Ollie, he won a national title, but he didn't do very good after that. He didn't recruit very
Yeah.
good.
No,
Um,
no, not at all, not at all. So tell me, what do you think, Edie's gonna get drafted, or do you think he's gonna be in the top 5, the number 1 pick, the number
oh
10
no,
pick? Where
I think I don't think I think he's between 20 and 30. I don't think he's going to go um, because it's just his game is just like it's just not conducive to what they want in the NBA. But I think he's good enough to be a decent pro and then maybe a backup. A lot of people, maybe they perfect for Denver backup. What's your guy as the backup center or a team like the Thunder who will have a kind of a late pick, but they kind of they need a big guy. So I mean, there's some teams, but I don't think he'll be much more above 20,
I
just because
agree.
they don't the big men are not really, and he's just not
Value.
that fast, and he doesn't have any outside shot.
No, and
Um,
that's the deal with the
yeah,
NBA these days.
um,
If you're 6'9" to 7+, you better be stretching the floor with a 3-point shot or something
yeah,
like that, or you better be stretching the floor with passes out of the post or out of the top of the key there.
yeah,
Well,
One of those.
and that's the thing is all NBA teams are looking for the Nikola Jokic who can dominate like Edie can on the boards, but he can also shoot from downtown and throws and he passes the ball. So
Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
yeah, that's what they're looking for, and I think that is the next evolution of Edie is learning how to do some of those kind of things if
yeah.
he's going to make it in the NBA.
I don't know. He'll have to make a lot of changes because I don't see that. I don't see anything that shows it, but maybe he can improve. I don't know, but maybe going to play for Denver, learning from him or something like.
Yeah.
But he's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
he's
I,
just the Denver guy just looks a lot more athletic than he's just kind of he's pretty lumbery.
he's lumbery because he's 7'5", 300
Yeah,
freaking pounds. I mean, that's
yeah,
the deal with Edie. I
yeah.
mean, and that's fine. I mean, back in the day, that's what you were looking for in the
Oh
center.
yeah,
You were looking for somebody who can bang and get
sure.
inside and but these days, if you're like I said, 6'9" to 7 feet, if you can't shoot that, well, to be honest with you, if you're anybody in the NBA, if you can't shoot that three, uh,
Mm-hmm.
there's not a whole heck of a lot of room
Unless you're
for a whole lot.
Draymond Green, then you can just be on a team that everyone shoots threes, and you just get to be a thug.
Exactly,
Yep.
exactly.
That guy,
One
I
of
think
those
he's
one of those kind
so
of
overrated
situations.
guy,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he was put with the perfect situation, if you ask me.
I was gonna say, I agree with you. I think he is. I just don't. They're talking Hall of Fame for this guy.
It's
I
like,
just don't see it.
at the NBA though, the NBA is the lightest of the Hall of Fame. They are. It is not that it's simple, but of all the Hall of Fames, it is by far the easiest one to get. They put more in than
I just
anybody.
don't see it for him.
I I just go by the year that he was kind of the star when he had none of those guys. They were all hurt 3 or 4 years ago,
Yeah.
and they
Mm-hmm.
were horrible. And his numbers, the bigger thing, his numbers were not any different that year than when he was with all the stars.
Uh,
I mean, that's what proved to me. Like he still did the same, about 10 points and 7 or 8 rebounds and a few assists, just like he did when he has all the other guys. So I'm like, that's
Yeah.
why I think he's just got very lucky and was in
yeah.
the right position. I just think if he had been drafted by the Bobcats or Orlando, he just would have been a guy traveling around, and he probably played in the NBA for 8 or
He'd have
10
been out.
years.
Well,
But he would have just been a journeyman that's just kind of an okay player.
but he kind of honed his craft. Kicking people in
Yeah,
the groin, punching them in the nut. Smacking them in the face,
yeah,
punching them in the
yeah,
face. I mean, he earned his
yeah.
spot.
He did, he did.
Yep.
But anybody that says he's a Dennis Rodman, no, he's no Dennis Rodman.
Oh,
Rodman's
no,
a
not
lot
at all.
better.
Not at all.
Rodman's a
Not
lot
at all.
better. Lot
Not at
better.
all. All right, I got one more topic that I want to run through real quick. The college coaching carousel has has started, and
Yeah,
appears like the first one to grab the brass ring is maybe Arkansas. What's going on there, guys?
yeah, yeah. It's kind of surprising. Musselman has had some good success at Arkansas and goes to USC. I don't know. Obviously, they paid him more, but I don't really think that's. I think in Arkansas, it's more of a. I don't know out there, particularly with the Big Ten thing. Basketball, you're gonna be traveling a lot. I mean, you're gonna with USC, you're gonna be going to Maryland, Rutgers, and being gone for 2 or 3 weeks. I
Uh-huh.
don't know. I don't really see that, but that's what started it. And then I never in a million years would have thought. What do you think, Cool? Did you ever see that happening? What happened with Arkansas? I never would have thought that.
With Calipari going there?
Yeah.
Yeah, never would have
I
thought that.
if you're going to tell me that Calipari was going to go to another school, I would not have thought about the Arkansas Razorbacks. I got to be
No.
honest. I would have thought about Washington, Michigan, Stanford,
Yeah.
maybe even Vanderbilt. Stay in the SEC.
Uh-huh.
But no, and Arkansas is obviously in the SEC as well. But yeah, I didn't see that happening. I
I
thought
didn't
if
think he would
anything,
leave. So
Yeah, I didn't think he would leave.
I didn't think he would leave either. But yeah, so that's pretty crazy. I don't think we're done though for the craziness, to be honest, with that call with the coach carousel. So.
Well, the Kentucky job, I mean, that is one of the. I mean, it is one of the very best out there, and you have to know it's coming
Well,
with a lot of pressure. That they even as a guy like Calipari, who's done pretty well,
Uh-huh.
he basically was shoved out the door. So you better not just win 25 games. You better make Final Fours, and that's what got him out the door. And I think
and I think.
go ahead.
Oh no, go finish what you're going to
I
say.
was just saying I think if the Baylor coach wants to go to that next step of a huge basketball program, I could see Bryce Drew, and that's a name that's a pretty well known that Kentucky might go after. That's just kind of the. I don't think Hurley. He's not going to go. He's won 2
No, he's
national
not.
titles. He's not going anywhere.
He's not.
And then I would say maybe Billy Donovan. I think those two. Drew, I haven't heard as much, but I think he may be someone they look at. And then Billy Donovan would make a lot of sense because he's a lot better college coach than he ever was as he had been a pro. So.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, and he knows
True.
the SEC.
True. I would give you some of that. I think that's very true. But that, if done correctly in Arkansas, could be a good spot
Sure.
for Calipari. Could be a good spot for Calipari because it really is a low pressure situation where I won't say you don't have to win, but it's not expected of you to win. It's expected of you to show up. It's expected of you to get into the tournament every year. It's expected of you to make a little bit of a run, but it's not a blue blood situation where you've got that reputation of Kentucky, or you got that reputation of Duke, North Carolina, or something like that, or even Kansas, or Kansas or something like that. So it's a good place. Now they did win the national championship under Nolan Richardson back in the day.
Back in the early '90s. They won it, and they got to the finals the next year. That was and Musselman had a few teams that made not only Final Four, but a few runs that Sweet 16 and stuff. And I think Calipari kind of sees this as a little bit better than like the Memphis or a UMass. Those were not as good of programs, but it's similar. It's not great, but it's not as low as those were, and he built those up. Now it took quite a while. I don't know how long he's going to go because I don't know how long he wants to, but he can probably do that one a little bit faster because the SC he'll be able to recruit a little better. But he's going to have to do a lot more different because he's not going to get those top 5 classes every year, one and done stuff that he was getting at Kentucky. He's going to have to get portal guys, and he's going to have to do back to good old coaching. And maybe he just didn't know if he could do that at Kentucky, or if he didn't really. He was worried that if he tried that, he may have a few down to get up, and they're just not going to deal with that.
No,
and but so that may have been,
That's what was interesting to me is he committed to doing that. He committed to Kentucky that he was going to recruit one and dones, yes, but he was also going to recruit some older players through the portal that would stick around and build a little bit of more of a resilient kind of situation, and instead of the situation he had been building there, where he's got a lot of one and dones, a lot of two and sit the bench. And but he had said that he was going to do that. So now he's got a chance to do that in Arkansas, a place where I think he's in a little bit of the hotbed territory, where he can pull from Louisiana, pull from Texas, pull from Oklahoma, and pull from obviously Arkansas. But it's a whole lot better than going up to Rutgers and trying to recruit out of that area there. So I think
although Rutgers, this class that's coming in, this is the NIL for you.
Yeah,
the Rutgers, who you never even talk about them in sports. They have the number 2 and the number 5 rated recruit in the nation. That'll be a freshman at Rutgers this next year.
Yeah,
and there is no other way except they just got some good NIL. Nobody goes to Rutgers at all. I mean, there is nothing tradition there at all. And it's New Jersey. There's not a lot of, just not really. It has to be some major NIL money.
Yeah.
And get 2 of those. I mean, I don't know if they'll be any good, but they did get good players.
It is still Big Ten basketball up there, though.
It is. Yeah. It is. I was laughing at a buddy of mine today. He was, laying back on his little blanket in his backyard, looking up at the eclipse with a Rutgers track and field shirt on. I'm like,
hey, there you go.
What is that?
Rutgers track and field.
Hey, what the hell is that?
Did he run there? Does his cousin play?
No.
How did he?
I have no clue. He lives in Jersey now, so maybe he's close by. He could pick one up, but
he has no affiliation really there.
No. He was his college career was at U of H with me. He was a javelin thrower. But anyway,
I could see Houston. Speaking of javelin throwers, he was probably a little before you, or being a little after you. But that's what Garth Brooks did at Oklahoma State.
I had no idea.
That's what he did. He's from Yukon, Oklahoma.
Uh-huh.
Matter of fact, one of my mom's very best friends was the music teacher at that high school when
Oh
he
my
was in
goodness.
and taught him at UConn.
Oh wow.
He's not really, he's in choir, and she said, he was all right. That's what she said. He was all right.
He was
So
all
he
right.
goes to Oklahoma State and throws the javelin, and that's what helped
Uh-huh.
pay for school. And then he didn't go out to Nashville till he was about 25 or 26. But he
Wow.
threw the javelin
There
in the
you
late
go.
mid 80s. I mean, so I was thinking he might have thrown against Houston. I don't know.
He
Sometimes
probably did. He probably
made me
did.
think.
Yeah.
But then again, we all know that Kerry Von Erich used to go to U of H. His real name is Kerry Atkinson. He used to
Really?
throw the disc and the shot at U of H. He was a roommate of one of my best friends at U of H. We used to hang out with Kerry Atkinson all the time. Well, Kerry Von Erich all the time. Yep.
But they're not really all related.
No,
The Von Erichs are not. Oh, I didn't realize
no,
that. Oh.
no. Anyway, moving along, I think it's time to end this puppy. And again, it's time for some shout outs. I think I'm going to go first this time, guys,
Yeah.
because I have a major shout out. And this shout out goes to who else but my Houston Cougars? Kelvin Sampson, AP Coach of the Year,
That's
National
nice.
Basketball Association Coaches Coach of the Year. Not to mention that my man, Jamal Shed, the guy who got hurt in our final game of the season, was Defensive Player of the Year
Nice.
nationally.
Oh, wow. That's good.
And third runner-up for Player of the Year behind Ed Eady and that guy from Tennessee, Dalton Connect. So he was
Connect, yeah.
third runner-up in that. So
Wow.
that, to me, is a very successful year. We do hope that Jamal Shed comes back to U of H because he's got a year of eligibility left.
I think it'd be good.
He's going pro. So
I think he'd be a guy that it might not help him, but it might not hurt him. So I don't know.
I agree.
Maybe NIL. I said NIL might be able to keep that guy.
Maybe. So who's your shout out, Mr. Kulik?
Yeah, so I'm going to give a shout out to Big Ten basketball. Not only did they represent the championship game in both the women's and men's with Purdue men's and Iowa Hawkeyes women's, but also the 3-point shootout contest. It was won
How's
by
you going there?
Sarah Scalia from Indiana for women's and Casey Tamanaga for Nebraska.
Oh, all right. Nice.
So I got to give a shout out to a good season of Big Ten basketball.
Awesome. All right, Mr. Sooner, what you got?
I'll just say, hey, the Rangers started off well, looking good. I
Yep.
think they're. It's nice to see them. So I'll just say, let's go Rangers. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go win back to back.
Sounds good, my friends. Another enjoyable evening with my bud.
Yep. Enjoyed it.
Thanks for hanging in with us. We are the SportsPage Pundits, and we will be back later this week with a couple of different shows. We're going to do a little NBA show. We're going to do a little NFL draft show. We might even get a hockey show out of the Mr. Kulik and Mr. Parks. We shall see. But in either case, you'll hear more from us this week. Thanks for hanging out. Good job, Mr. Kulik. Good job, Mr. Thrawn.
Thank you, Keemer.
Go
Love you.
Avalanche, go Nuggets.
Love you, but we got to go.
Peace.
Peace.